Now, in the historical account, we find that Antiochus IV is the king that was referred to by Gabriel. It actually happened this way. So his brother had inherited the empire belonging to the Seleucus general, and Antiochus IV murdered him and came into power in 175 BC. When he came, he invaded Egypt and proclaimed himself king of Egypt, and he grew in power towards the south. There was trouble in Jerusalem, so he turned his attention towards the beautiful land to see what is this trouble happening in Jerusalem. I will go and settle it. So, and when he came, he oppressed the people and defiled the temple of God, and he plundered the treasury of God. And he later attacked Jerusalem and he burnt it. That is what actually happened in history. He burnt Jerusalem. And the Jews, he forbade them to follow the law of Moses. And Sabbath, he said, you must not observe the Sabbath or the annual feast or the traditional sacrifices, and circumcision was forbidden. And then this Epiphanes, he made idols and put it in the temple of God and forced the people to worship the idols. And Jews were ordered to have unclean animals sacrificed in the temple of God, and they were forced to eat the flesh of these unclean animals. So Antiochus IV was called Epiphanes, meaning the illustrious one. And this is how Antiochus IV defiled it. And the temple defilement lasted for 2,300 mornings and evenings, just as Daniel saw in his vision. And before the temple could be cleansed, it was defiled. And let us see what happened in history. So Antiochus, he replaced the high priest with a person who was not from the high priestly family, because God had ordered the Jews that the high priest would be from the family of Aaron, one of his descendants from the tribe of Levi and the family of Aaron. So Antiochus IV Epiphanes, he made a non-high priest, a non-Aaronic priest as high priest. And when the real people, the Jews, saw this, they were burned to the core. So there was a godly priest. His name was Mattathias, and he revolted against this establishment of the high priest. He revolted against the desecration of the temple. And he had a son who was called Judas Maccabeus, and he started a guerrilla band. He gathered people around him and started a guerrilla band, and he came and attacked the Seleucid armies of Antiochus IV Epiphanes. He attacked them and drove them out of Palestine. And the king Antiochus IV was not there at that time. He was away, he had heard, in the eastern part of the kingdom, and just as Gabriel had prophesied, he died a mysterious death. He became mad, mentally ill, and died a mysterious death. And Gabriel had said that after 2,300 mornings and evenings, the defilement of the temple would be stopped. And according to the prophecy, the time period of 2,300 days was literally fulfilled when the Seleucid armies were driven out of the temple, and Judas Maccabeus took over. So Judas Maccabeus, he restored back to the temple the sacrifices and the Jewish worship, and he gave independence to the Jews to have religious freedom. So whatever Daniel saw in his vision was literally fulfilled in Antiochus 4, or Antiochus Epiphanes, which means the illustrious one. So it actually was fulfilled in history. But that is not all. Antiochus 4 was in the history pointing towards something that's going to happen in our days, in modern times. And there's a prophetic link to it. We will see that.